Hi, my name is Victoria, and I want to share something with you this morning. I want to share what God just gave me this morning, and I think that it's very appropriate for so many people that are waiting for their promises, and this is just something to know in life. Okay, before you, before God takes you to the place, to the heights he wants to take you, the first thing that he has to do, well, one of the first things that he's going to do is change your appearance. He must change your appearance first. Well, first things, your appearance must change before you go to the heights, before you begin to fly. You must change your outfit. You must change your outfit. Well, God is going to change your outfit for you, basically. This reminds me of the story of Joseph when he was in the pit. You know, he was servant to the head jailkeeper. I'm thinking it was type of role. He was servant to the head jailkeeper. He had favor in his sight when he was cast out into the pit for what the narcissist did, which the Bible is full of like the story of like narcissists and like righteous people. But Potiphar's wife, the narcissist, she was narcissistic. She definitely was. She plotted on an innocent man and, lied on him and said that he was doing something that he wasn't. She framed him to say that this man is trying to pursue me and I'm his wife. And that action caused Joseph to be cast into prison where he was, that was his persecution or his pain that he had to go through before the elevation that he would experience. And he was down there, and the Bible says that as soon as he was down there, he immediately had favor in the jailkeeper's sight. He immediately had favor in the jailkeeper's sight, and he began to be servant of that jailkeeper. And he served that jailkeeper. So basically, after some experience that Joseph had with these two men who had these two different dreams on the same night, and Joseph interpreted their dreams. And if you know how this story goes, the interpretation was by God, and it was 100% correct and was fulfilled the next day. And I think it was that next day, or maybe it was 3 days. Yeah, it was 3 days. It was 3 days because each dream was in the forecast of 3 days. And on the third day, the fulfillment came to pass, and Joseph was forgotten about in that prison. But 3 years later, no, 2 years later, when I think it was one of the king's servants, one of the Pharaoh's servants, had told the Pharaoh that there was somebody that could interpret dreams in the prison, because the Pharaoh had this dream that needed to be interpreted, and no one could interpret it. None of the magicians, none of the worldly magic could interpret this dream, but Joseph, with God on his side, was able to interpret this dream. But the point is that God was getting ready to elevate Joseph out of this world, Because after Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, Pharaoh gave him all the authority in the kingdom, and he was only under Pharaoh. Pharaoh was the only person he did not have authority over the whole kingdom of Egypt. That's wild. God did that. God took this man from the pit to the freaking palace at the snap of a finger. It was like, can you imagine being Joseph? He was literally just in prison 1 second. In the next second, he was summoned up. The next second, he was summoned up. And the first thing God did after taking him out of that pit was change his appearance. If you read the Bible, it says that Joseph, the first thing they did was shave his hair, his beard, gave him new clothes. That was the first thing they did. I'm not sure if they put a chain on his neck, but that was the first thing they did. They changed his physical appearance first before he could appear before the king, before the Pharaoh. The first thing they had to do was change the way he looked. He could not appear where he was going to go. He was not going to get where he was going to go unless he had a change of appearance first. Now, you may be thinking that God is taking forever to do what he is going to do in your life. But look at your appearance. Hasn't it changed? Hasn't your appearance changed? The first thing that God will do before he elevates you in your life is change your appearance. I was reminded of this not only from that story, but God showed it to me this morning as I was looking at YouTube. I was looking at this like YouTube channel about animals' journeys before they are adopted, and I really believe that God works in animals' lives just like he works in humans' lives, and he makes promises to animals and to, their families and things like that. And there was a dog who had been mightily abused. He was just a skeleton, like he was just skin and bones. And he was a new dog in the shelter, and the shelter cleaned him up. They cleaned him up. They changed his appearance. They cleaned him up. Before he had no fur, he was just so skinny. He was unappealing to the eye. And before he could have the blessing, the fortune of being adopted by a loving family, before he could experience that, the first thing that had to happen was before he could get that was he had to get a makeover. That was the first thing God blessed him with, was a makeover. Now, you might think that everything that God is going to do in your life should happen like that, but it doesn't. It happens step by step, and the first thing you need is that makeover. Before God can bless you with what he wants to bless you with, you have to look the part. It's just like Aladdin. It's just like Aladdin before. It's just like it's just like Cinderella. Before God can take you and put you where he wants you to be, he has to first change your appearance. Bippity boppity boo. Bippity boppity boo. That magic, that complete magic is a step that has to take place. The step that takes place before you can appear on your scene. Because for so many of these people, it was just like that. For Cinderella, it was just like that. For Joseph, it was just like that. For David, for King David, it was just like that. God took him from hiding for his life to the news that Saul, who was pursuing his life, was killed and was no longer alive. And what do you think the first thing David did? He put on that chain. He put on that chain just like Joseph. When Joseph was elevated, God put him on a brand new chain. Pharaoh, he was like, he gave him his signet ring. It was about the appearance before God took him to and gave him all the things that he had for him, he first changed his. God will change your appearance before he changes your life. He will change your appearance before he changes your life. And you might be feeling like it's taking forever and ever and ever to see what God is doing in your life. And no, this is not for everybody, but when it's for you and it's your specific time, what he's gonna do is first change the way you look. You're not gonna go without looking a certain way. He has to first change the way you look, because just imagine if you go to the place and what if Joseph stood before Pharaoh, presented himself before Pharaoh looking like a prisoner, looking like a slave. Okay, what? No. Joseph will not go before Pharaoh, standing before him with the rags on, looking like scraggly, nails uncut, dirty, haven't taken a bath. No, that's not how you appear before a king. And God is not going to have you appearing before anything, before your blessing. God is not going to have you appear like that. God is going to clean you up before he presents you before the king. God is going to clean you up. He is going to clean up your appearance. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Clean up your mind, clean up your mental attitude, which cleans up your countenance, which brightens up your face, gives you a new attitude, a new awareness, and then God blesses you with this new appearance, this new wardrobe. And so God is working. God is doing what he said he's going to do. God is bringing it to pass right before your very eyes. If you have had a change of countenance, if you have had a change of appearance, that is the first step. God is getting you ready. God is getting you ready to receive what he has for you. That is the first step. That is the first step.